Good evening, everyone. December 7th. It's a really good month. The day after my wife's birthday. Uh, the same month that we have our anniversary this year. 40 years. Can you believe it? 40 years. I can't believe it. It seems like only yesterday we were just teenagers running around in high school, and here we are 40 years later, and our house is full of grandkids running around. I'm sorry I'm so late. That's the reason. And then the other reason, I can't guarantee how long that I'll be online without the router going out. I've been having, I don't know what it is, man. Walmart was slow. The traffic was slow. The internet is slow today. But yeah, it's really a trip. And then we have Christmas. I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, not oh humbug or nothing, but just when you have like a gazillion grandkids and 6 kids and lots of family, it's hard to, the 99-cent store is your friend. Anyways, hello everyone. How are you? How are you, Connie and CEA and Winner? Hi, Winner. And Jan. Hi, Jan and Arlo. How are you guys? Sorry I'm late. I meant to be on like a long time ago. Only I was actually taking a call from someone that hopefully I can get him as a guest. And we're talking about like collaborating with on a chat, another YouTube channel, and me and him will work together like one time a week, like on a Wednesday or something like that. And we're still talking, but the guy is real interesting. He's led a very, very real life that is very interesting. And I can't go into any more than that. All I can say is he's my brother, and he's really, really cool. He's been through a lot, and he has a lot to say, and a lot of it is real interesting and stuff that we wonder about, and maybe we'll know the truth if we ever get together and do this. Hey, Larry, Odie, how's it going, Odie? You guys have a good day today. And Ed, hey man, how's it going? That's my brother. All you guys, my brothers and sisters in chat, my chat brothers and sisters, and some of my kids, and Michael. I don't have much. See my streams already. The health already is like slacking on me. I hope I could stay on. Last time it shut off on me. I'm not really sure what's going on with this ATT thing. I might have to switch to the other, internet company. We only have two to choose from, so I got to choose wisely. This one wasn't so wise. How's it going, Rob and Barbara? How are you all? The fish are doing pretty well. I've been thinking about doing a little video. I switched up my filter system to a canister filter, and I disconnected all the hang on the back filters. And it's really like, I'm loving it, man. It's keeping the tank really clean and low maintenance. I mean, I'm really liking it a lot. It's been hooked up for about 3 weeks now. Yeah, I think dump the ATT. I mean, I like ATT, but for $100 a month, I should be not having problems, right? I think the other one's like $58 a month, and it's like twice the speed up and down. So, thank you, man. 40 years, you guys, 40 years. I feel so lucky. I mean, I'm lucky. I have a lot of friends. I mean, like, I'm speechless. I married. I have like all healthy grandkids except for something that I thought about. I might want to talk about Have you guys noticed that children nowadays, like, remember, like, I don't know what everybody ages in here, but in when I was a kid, there was you heard of people having allergies, hay fever, you know, but not. And every once in a while, you might hear of somebody that was lactose intolerant or something. But I mean, it wasn't like all over the place. Like tonight, we're trying to figure out what's for dinner, and I have three grandkids over, and every one of them, like one was allergic to milk products, dairy, and then the other one was allergic to something else, and the other one was allergic to something else. And I mean, it really, like, the menu went way down, on the selection. And what is it about today? Like, with technology today, you would think that a lot of this stuff would be going away, not getting more pronounced, right? Not there wouldn't be as much, but only now it's like it's a lot, like everybody's allergic to everything. I mean, it's kind of weird, don't you think? Like, is it because of vaccinations? Like, even though I remember when I was a kid, we lined up in the cafeteria. The parents would sign a paper, and everybody would line up, and you go through the line, and you get your, I think, what, polio and measles or something like that. Thank you, man. I've been practicing on the flute, and I'm still not very good at it. I have a long ways to go, but um, I'm not like trying to learn anybody's songs or anything. I'm just make up my own songs. But I've been practicing, and then when I was sitting out there by the river, the wind was blowing, and it was blowing across the holes and across the where the sound comes out at the bottom, and it was really messing with me, and it was making the flute make noises that I never heard it make before when I was playing it. I mean, and I've made some weird noises on it, believe me, but it was making some weird noises with the wind blowing. I guess I was sitting with the wind blowing across me, and I should have sat maybe with my back to the wind, but I didn't think about it when I sat down. Actually, I wasn't thinking about anything, like that wind or camera placement or anything. Just kind of just sat down and started playing. But it was a really fun trip though out there. Yeah, GMOs. I think that could be some of it, and maybe what they're spraying in the skies. I know a lot of people don't believe it, but I know some pilots. I know one pilot. It's a lady. I won't say her name. She's captain of a jet, and for 20, 22 years, something like that, she's been flying jets, airline pilot. And one day she was snooping around, and she happened onto something, and then it got her to snooping around, and she found out that these chemtrail things was real, and they caught her, and they called her in, and they threatened her with her job and her retirement and everything to keep her mouth shut. And she said it was really hard to keep her mouth. She talks about it privately, but she won't talk about it publicly, and it makes her sick. I mean, she's glad she's almost ready to retire, but it makes her sick that she's hurting people and her family and everything, and she doesn't like it at all. And I can't get her to come on and talk about it at all. She's afraid for her job and stuff. So, and I understand, I really do. But I think a lot of this stuff now. I think we're gonna see. I don't like to get political as much as other people, but I think we're gonna start seeing the things going, like, picking up speed now. Because I actually believe there's a war going on behind the scenes in our government, and and I think they're really battling it out. And we're watching some of them get taken out, and I think some of them are really afraid. A lot of them, they knew it was wrong, and they kept their mouths shut, and they stayed politically correct, and they might lose everything because of it. But they should have been standing up for what was right in the very beginning, and instead of keeping their mouths shut. And then I think there's some that actually fully believe in what they're doing, and or they're getting paid so much money they don't want the spigot to stop. They like that big bankroll, and they just, they're on the wrong side. But I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that coming out faster, like a snowball. We've seen it like little bit by little bit. Now the fake news can't like turn the other eye, or turn away from it. They have to they're going to have to start reporting on it, because it's real, and we might even see some of those guys go down. I heard some of their houses burned down there in LA. I heard that some of those guys that own the news agencies lost their homes. But I think that's what's going on. There's a war going on, and we're gonna start seeing casualties more than we are now. We're gonna start seeing more, and it's not gonna be like pedophile stuff. It's gonna be real treason stuff. I think it was like they started digging into the swamp, or whatever you want to call it, and they started netting the little fish, and like, and then saying, you know what, we're after the big fish. And the big fish thought they were safe, and they probably even threw some people under the bus, hoping that it would take the focus off of what they're doing. But there's a war, and there's going to be casualties, and some of them are, we might be surprised. Yeah. Yeah, hey, what, Odie? Yeah, they do. They say they test for stuff. I have to say though, like when it comes to GMOs, it's almost hard not to eat GMOs. Almost everything is GMOs. I mean, like corn, almost every kind of corn you could get is GMO. And wheat products, they're all GMO. And when it comes to the big pharma, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for big pharma, really. I would love to get off of all the meds and stuff like that, but I can't live without them. And I mean, I have a bag, like, I have a bag full of meds, like heart pills and pain pills and sugar, and cholesterol. And I mean, some of it I probably could ditch, but all of it connects, almost like the thigh bone's connected to the hip bone, kind of thing. So each pill, each med does something to keep me alive. And I want to stay alive for a little while, even though I'm not afraid of dying. I know what's on the other side. It ain't bad, really. It's better than this. But, you know, you have an event at the Calvary. What are you doing? What do you call it? You plugging your church? Calvary World Outreach? Cool. Maybe I'll show up. Maybe. Yeah, when I was a kid, like it didn't matter if you had an allergy. I think my sister was allergic to citrus and strawberries, that kind of thing. And the only other person, you heard of people with asthma. I think my dad had asthma. So I mean that really now everybody has asthma. Everybody has an inhaler. Everybody's like can't drink milk, is all lactose intolerant and everything. I mean, it's crazy. There's a whole, and I would believe it's GMOs and they're doing it to us because they've turned it into a whole market. You know what I mean? Like when you go to the store, there's sections that you go to for the lactose intolerant people and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really crazy day. It's a crazy time to be alive. Like it's cool in one way, like we can ride 5 miles in the sky at, unheard of speeds. I mean, even on the ground in our car, we can go speeds that people only dreamed about doing for 2,000 or 5,000 years or whatever. Like I could get in the car and go visit my daughter and sons in Indiana and be there in 3 days. It would have took 6 months back in the day, before cars. And I could hop in the plane and fly all the way to England, over the ocean and be there in like 11 hours. I could be all the way around the world, halfway around. I mean, it's amazing. And then look what they're doing, Corey Feldman. Okay, now we did have a little chat. Um, when we were chatting with Corey Feldman before he did his concert, there was a couple hours that we hung out, and he was talking about how when he back when they were trying to hang Michael Jackson for being a pedophilia or a child molester or whatever, he was telling me that he or us, there was a few of us, he told us that the sheriffs interviewed him and taped it, and he told them what they didn't want to hear. He told them that Michael Jackson was not a child molester. And that's what he said, that, even right there, he said Michael Jackson is not a child molester. But I will tell you who is. And he named names, okay? And he said they didn't want to hear that. All they wanted to hear was about Michael Jackson. They didn't care about everybody else. They were on a witch hunt for Michael Jackson. They were headhunting that guy. He said that's all they wanted to hear. They did not want to hear anything else. But they had recordings of it. And he said that he doesn't trust any of them. That's what he said. And then today, guess what? Was it today or yesterday? They came out and bam, they found, a detective found his, the file where he talked about Michael Jackson not being a child molester, but he named names, and I have a feeling we'll be hearing about those names here pretty soon. That's part of the war, So that's what I heard from Corey Feldman. That and his band is great. If you ever get a chance to go see Corey Feldman and his Angels, go see him, because they blew me away. I really, I heard, I'll be honest. I watched him, do the Today Show, and I wasn't impressed. Really, I wasn't. And I thought, here's a guy with a whole a different lifestyle than us, and money and fame and fortune and everything, and just made a band because that he liked doing it. And I admired that he was doing what he loved to do, but I didn't think it was all that great, sounding or anything. But then, when we, when the show started, I was blown away. He has these girls, his Angels, are real musicians, and they are real good. And so is he. He was polished. He put on a really good show, and I was amazed. So, thumbs up to Corey Feldman, and following his dreams and stuff. I mean, too bad all of us can't be so successful. Maybe a little bit of luck had, in the beginning for him. I don't know. But only he made, he attained everything. He is having a rough time of it now, though. Boy, he really is. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, what's happening to him now, or a lot of them, that were seeking fame and fortune, and then wound up having to make a deal with the devil or devils, weirdos. It's really a shame, man, how the world is. Okay, Odie, I think we got it. You might say one more time, what's your church? World Calvary Outreach, and they're really good people. I know all of them, I love them. I love them. I love Mike and his whole family, his dad and his brothers. But yeah, uh, we're in a weird world today, and I have a feeling we're gonna see the war, that deep state, or whatever anybody wants to call it. We're gonna see it break out into the light. Like right now, it's in the dark and behind the scenes. What I think of it as is, you guys remember History of the World Part Two, and they started a bar fight, and all of a sudden they broke through the wall of the set, and then they were in another movie set. And they just kept breaking through into all these different movie sets. It reminds me of that kind of, like, that's what's happening right now. There's a big fight going on, but they're going to break through the wall, and more people we're all going to see it happen, and I think the tide is turning, really, to tell you the truth. I actually believe that it wasn't for us. They haven't been for the little people for a long time, and they're supposed to be representing us, and it's a government for the people, by the people, and I don't think it's been like that for a long time. And I think that it, even maybe even back in the 50s and 60s, we thought they were, and I think they weren't then, you know what I mean? And then, the 70s and 80s and 90s, what that evil really started to, like, really get a grip, and all the good people inside of it, afraid for their lives and their families and their careers, just shut up and did whatever they had to do to survive their job. But I think we're going to see that all. I think the tide's turning. We're gonna see it turn, and we're gonna see history being made. Not We're living in a really weird. I mean, like, this is the if you're gonna live in a time, in an era of time, we're living in a real interesting time that never was seen before in all of history, that known history, anyways. So it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it, like, every day. The fires down there, um, it almost looks like a big setup again. Like the Santa Rosa fires. I found out something. I did a little digging on the Santa Rosa fires. There's this thing called Agenda 21, and it's all the UN and the globalists, and they're the ones they started with global warming, and now it's they renamed it because it isn't global warming anymore. Now it's climate change, but that's all bull crap too. That I mean, nothing's really they from the time they've been taking records. The only thing that changed is how much carbon is in the air, but really everything else hasn't really changed, except for maybe the wobble in the earth. Now, I believe there is something happening, okay, don't get me wrong. I don't believe in pollution. Okay, I believe we could be cleaner. We really could, and I actually believe there's cleaner energy, and they've been not letting it out. Maybe when we see this regime fall, the globalists lose, maybe we'll see some of these inventions that came out, like running a car on water, and stuff like that. Maybe we'll see these things actually come out, and free energy and stuff like that. Because right now it's not good. Like, I got so angry when they put the smart meter on my house. I mean, that made me so mad. It was like, and everybody was for it. They sold it, like, all my friends are like, yeah, but then I could put an app on my phone, and I could see how much energy I'm using and all that stuff. But do you understand frequencies? Like, every house is talking to each house. It's like a web, and there's all these frequencies. So now you have cell phone frequencies and everything, putting these magnetic fields all around. Even our brain is a magnet. We have a field. They call it an aura, And, like, don't you think that could be messing us up? Do you think maybe that's why there's more cancer than there ever was and more heart disease? I mean, like, it's messing with our electrical system, right? And I think they know that. I think they know that. I wanted to opt out of the smart meter and I couldn't opt out. You could only opt here. You could only opt out for a little bit, and then they forced it. I mean, actually, they didn't even tell me. I mean, one day I caught this guy out there changing the meter. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Putting a smart meter. Everybody's getting them." I go, "I don't want one." He goes, "Too late." Like, geez, too late. Like, I don't know where all you guys are, but in California, check this one out. This is like, I have an old car. I mean, it runs good. It only has, I think it's a 2000, and it just turned over 100,000 miles. I mean, that's how much I drive, right? It's a 2000, and I just turned over 100,000 miles. And the only thing I've ever changed is the brakes, the oil, the alternator, and the battery. A couple times on the battery, a couple times on the alternator, and then starter. And then last year, the oxygen sensors went out. Two oxygen sensors. And it passed the smog. It didn't pass smog. Even though I fixed them, I didn't clear the little check engine light. And the guy didn't charge me or anything. He told me, go drive on the freeway. But he didn't tell me I had to go 80 miles before it reset all the way. So I went back in. The light wasn't on. He went ahead and ran me, but he didn't tell me until after he charged me everything, that I didn't drive far enough, and it was still in the computer that the engine light was, it kicked a code. I think that's what he called it. So it took like 3 months to get my car licensed last year. And in California, you have to get a smog like every 2 years. Well, I get my registration is up in January, so a few weeks ago I got my registration in the mail to get it relicensed for the next year, and it says I have to go do a smog test again. Only this time in a test center only smog test, not just go down and get one from anybody that could do a smog test. It has to be a star certified, right? I'm like, what? Like every other year. And I raised a big beef about it. I even talked to the star smog guy. I didn't do it yet. I just went down there and I was just asking questions like, hey, isn't it every other year? And he said, yeah. I told him, well, how come? And I showed him my thing and he looked it up in the computer. He's like, I never seen that before. Why do you have to do it again? So why are they picking on me? Huh? Like he never seen that before. The guy's been doing it for 26 years and he never seen that before. And here I am getting picked on by the government and I can barely afford this stuff, Like I'm not in the money or anything, and here I am, here they are, and they raised the freaking fees. Governor Brown raised the license fee, and of course it starts January 1st, and my tags are up January 20th, so I get the higher fees. Like, oh man, I'm just getting it all the way around here. Yeah, he charged me the second time because the light was out, okay, and he knew, and it isn't my mechanic. That's the thing. I don't really have a mechanic. I'm the mechanic. He knew that it was still in the computer. So then it was $49 and then $8 for the certificate, but I didn't get a certificate. I failed, and then I had to go out and drive my car around for 8 till I hit the 8 and then I went and bought one of those little OBD2 so I could look in there and clear everything. And if it kept kicking a code, I couldn't go in and get it smog. So because I don't drive a lot and it took me 2 months to drive the 80 miles, and finally it wasn't kicking a code. I went in and it passed. Well, now when I finally went to the DMV I was complaining because the smog guy told me he never heard that before. It is every other year, whether you fail or not. And I went in the DMV complaining, and they said, "Oh, well, your car is a 2000 model, and you failed. So we there's this new thing this year that now they can send you for a smog, like a test star center, and to make sure that it's still gonna pass smog." Like what? Like, all right, whatever. I can't believe it, man. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Oh, I'm positive. It just makes me, I get hot under the collar because it seems like government is out to like bleed us dry completely. And if you're a poor person, like back in the day when I used to make a lot of money, it would get me a little bit angry, but I could afford it. It was like, oh, I felt like all to fix anything, all I had to do is write a check, and I could do it. So it just got me, I was like, dang, again, and then give him the check, and it fixed everything. You know what I mean? Like you could fix anything with a check. Well, now, I don't really have it, so like I have to take something from something else to make it happen, because that's an added extra thing that I wasn't planning on, and I don't have room for those things anymore. You know what I mean? Like after I pay everything off, I maybe have $20 for the month. I'm not like a rich guy no more, And I actually am more happier now than I was. So just really gets I feel like I'm being punished, like getting a timeout. I just don't like it. Like, you're driving in an old car. Yeah, you know what the DMV told me? Well, if you don't like it, we have a buyback program, for those old smoggy, old yucky cars, and we'll give you $1,500. I was like, what? Really? Like, my car's nice for 2000 for a 2000. I mean, I'm full. It's a Sienna XLE, moon roof, 6 CD changer, everything electric, leather seats, no rips or tears, beautiful, like nice. Only 100,000 miles on it. Try go and buy a 2010 or a 2012 car that has 100,000 miles on it. Come on now, you know. Just crazy. I want to go buy, like, I think it's like 1974 or later or earlier. Is that what you call it? Earlier? Like late models are new, right? So, okay, early model, like go get a 1974 or earlier, and they don't have to have a smog. So I'm going to go get, yeah, like a 67 Volvo or a 73 Chevy pickup, dually or something. That's a real smog, something that blows freaking, it'll be so fast it can pass anything but a gas station type thing. That's what I want to do. There you go. Like a GTX or the 440, double pumper, like everything. Yeah. I want to drive it. I'll mostly sit and look at it because I can't afford to drive it if it can't pass a gas station. Well, my rant's over on that one. I'm just saying, like, we're living in the weird times. Weird. I know taxes are not new. That's actually how the United States started, right? We were being taxed to death over in England, and they were told they couldn't have religion and all these laws. So they came over here and started a new world, and we were actually cool. Only now we forgot where we came from, and I think that we're infiltrated by all those people that we were running from. I think they came over here and they got back control, and now we're watching a war to take control back. Thank God thank God we're gonna take control back. At least I hope that's what's happening, man. You guys, I don't know what. I want to say hi to everybody. Pam, I got your box. Wow, thank you so much. Um, really nice stuff, you guys. I have a lot of stuff to sell, and I think okay. Let me talk about that really quick. Um, pray for your aunt. I will do that. Wait, I have a pen and paper that I brought just for this, like so I could remember people's names that say to pray. So it's Johnny Moon, and it's your Aunt Felicia. For sobriety. I'll pray for that, and I know that God could take care of sobriety because He did for me, and I know He could heal people because He did for me. Sometimes He doesn't. I don't know why. I think it's our heart, But He could break even through that. So we'll all pray, and we'll all agree that God will touch her and heal her of that. And Brenda has brain cancer. Okay. Sorry about. I'm gonna be quiet while I'm writing. Okay. Sorry about that for a second, you guys. This is important to me. Because I actually believe that I wouldn't even be sitting here if it wasn't for God, and I know that's what He wants me to do. And when He heals you guys, when He heals these people, I want to hear the report, even though I'm not taking coup or anything like that. Just it makes me feel good, and it gives me more faith to keep praying, even though I don't have to see or hear results or anything really. I have that much faith. I've seen it a whole bunch of times, but only like I think it gives Him glory when we report it and give Him the credit. So that's what I'm all about. And let's see. And who needs it for pain relief? Who needs the pain relief, Pam? I'm gonna try not to be the popping. Is my mic too loud, you guys, or is my headphone turned up too loud? Who? It's just a friend. I don't need to do. I don't have to know her name or anything. Oh, okay, Brenda. Okay, I got it. Okay, that's Pam's friend. Right on. Okay. Cool. Okay, I'm sounding all right. Maybe I should just turn my headset down a little bit because it's like blasting my ears. I'm like, man, am I blasting you guys or what? Huh? Yeah, it sounds a little better. I turned myself down. It doesn't look like I'm popping you guys too hard though, by the little lights. So let's see, where was I now? There was okay. I remember when I said I was going to change the name. I'm not going to change the name. I think the Squatch Zone is fine, and we could talk about whatever we want in the Squatch Zone. And I think when I have guests, when we have guests, I'm just gonna break the in the in our YouTube channel. I'm just gonna make the break it up, and we'll have the UFO zone, and we'll have the conspiracy zone, and we'll have the ghost zone, and we'll have the God zone. If whatever, we'll just do all that. I was doing some slight buzz of the air, or yeah, there. I have the computer right next to me. It has 5 fans in it. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I try to turn the gain down to drown the fan, but if I turn it down too far, then the master control is like useless. So, but maybe when I get to move into the other room, I'll have the computer actually on the floor somewhere away from it, and we won't hear that anymore. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, you're getting confused with all the zones. Well, I really I started praying about it. I mean, I pray about everything, even the name of the channel, and it was like, even though there was some really good names. I mean, like CEA, you guys came up with some good names. Yeah, and Ghost Wolf, he came up with some good names. I mean, all you guys had some really good names, and I was like, I wrote them all down, all the ones that I thought was pretty good, which is about 20, and I was praying about it, but only the Squatch Zone was like, that's what it is. I mean, I'm mostly going to talk about Bigfoot and squatching, and I'm going to go squatching. When I have guests, that's only, or if you guys call in and we talk about other things, and then that's the only time we're getting off topic. And I maybe I could put it the off topic zone, and just only make it like one zone, the other zone or something, but not change the channel, just change like a category, and really all I'll do is I'll just put the video in that category in the other zone. That way everybody knows we're not, for the people that only tune in for only Squatch, and they get mad at me if we don't talk about that, because what your channel's name is Squatch. But it's, I'm about life, so one of, and what everybody wants to talk about, and we're not always talking about squatching, even though that is my favorite topic too, and I like doing that. Let's see. Yeah, the Allen zone. But I was thinking, like, really, I prayed about it, and I felt like it was a bad move. It was like the more I prayed about it, the more I felt like that was the wrong thing to do, was change. So I started asking him, is it the right thing? Should I keep the name, and forget that, and the more that I asked him about that, the more I felt confirmation, like, you know what, just keep it the same, just do what you're doing, and just keep doing it, and keep on keeping on, even though I do have some really cool things that coming up, that I have some guests that I'm lining up that you guys are gonna love, and some of them are Bigfooters, and some of them aren't, But yeah, that's what the Squatch Zone, like, when I first started the channel, like, it was I came from Paranormal Central. I can't even hardly say that, let alone spell it. And every time I type it, I always type it wrong the first time and have to retype it. And I learned in marketing a long time ago, the shorter that you can make something, even to one word or two letters or whatever, that's better, because it's all about what your mind can remember. And we all humans remember things that are a little bit catchy or very, very short. And the Squatch Zone is pretty catchy, and it's pretty short, so it lined up on two things. And yeah, I thought about that. The zone, help your, oh man, depression for reals, man. That one is a real bummer. I will do that one too. Man, depression's a killer. I'm not kidding. Um, People that have my disease, the RSD, CRPS, whatever you want to call it, one of the main things about chronic pain is it causes depression, because you lose your identity. Like I was telling you, you can't do what you used to do, and that's how you measure who you are. So all of a sudden you're not a person. That's how they feel, like they're a nobody now because they can't do the things they used to do, and they don't have what they used to have, and now they're plagued by pain, and they can't even hold conversations and stuff, and then they go into a depression, and the pain plus depression is seriously bad. So that, I'll pray for that, man. That, I don't like depression. Actually, I don't like anything that's bad. So, you know. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do is go with the flow. It's a good idea, like just, I don't, if they don't like it, if somebody comes along, they don't like that we talk about everything, um, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. That's what we do, and it seems like, I mean, that's what you guys like doing. You guys talk about everything too, and I love that. And I love that you guys all like Sasquatch and Bigfoot. I mean, that's where our bond came from, but only it doesn't mean we're not humans and we don't have other interests, like anything crypto, right? Almost anything, like we all like to get into the UFOs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like when I did a video, I went out squatching, okay, and I edited that thing, and my computer kept crashing. Right when it was saving or rendering the video, I guess it can't handle the high definition 60 frames per second. And it was about, I guess, about an hour long. About I had a video edited down. It was about 1 hour of Sasquatching down the Kings River and all around there. And I had a bunch of stuff. I had deer and coyotes. Me and Adolph sat and talked about things. We were driving along and talking about orbs and UFOs and abductions and all kinds of stuff, and I couldn't. So I edited it 3 times at the full length of 1 hour, and it took me like a little over a half a day to edit 1 hour. Okay, so I spent 3 half days editing the video, and then this morning, I got up really early and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it one more try. And I had an idea that maybe if I made the video shorter, that it might save. So what I did was I edited it to 45 minutes, and I saved it. The other times it saved, only for some reason it crashed, and then I couldn't use what I saved before I started rendering it because the computer crashed. Well, this time I turned everything off in the computer. I mean, anything that was running, I turned it all off. The only thing running was the editor. So then I made it 45 minutes. It saved, but it said it had a memory leak that time. It was like, oh, memory leak. I looked it up. It's something that Windows Movie Maker does. So then I edited it down to 42 minutes, and then I just kept taking minutes off, and then finally I was down to 10 minutes. Something like that, like all the way down to 10 minutes, and then it saved and it actually played. It didn't give me a bad message. So I went ahead and I put that 10 minutes, and what I did was I realized that it was 10 minutes and I put like hopefully the best stuff, that we had. Even though there was some really good stories, they would have made sometimes the talks that we have are longer than 10 minutes. So I couldn't even add one of those, So that was kind of a bummer, but it was better than nothing. Yeah, the movie maker really sucks. I found another one called Vegas Pro 15. It's an editor, and I put it on. I loaded it on the computer, and it was free, and it's really nice, But I don't know how to use it. So, I threw a bunch of videos in there, and it was like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to like do anything. So it was like, dang, back to Movie Maker, But of here in the next week or so, I'm gonna put that back, the Vegas Pro 15 or whatever they call it. I'm gonna put it back on there on the computer, and then I'm gonna learn how to use it, and maybe I can make longer videos. I don't know yet, though. I'm not sure. Wow, that is weird. So two crashes, deadly crashes in one place or at the same spot in less than 24 hours. Wow, that's pretty trippy. Oh, I remember. Okay, like remember, you guys remember the Santa Rosa fire in Northern California around the Bay Area, and they were saying it was DEW weapons, DEW, directed energy weapons. That's what they were calling. That's what they said did that. Okay, and it was weird. There was cars melted and houses burnt to the foundation and pine trees still standing there. And if anybody knows pine trees, they go up like, even green ones. If they get hot enough, they'll catch on fire before a car will or anything. So it was kind of weird that these pine trees were still standing around in these neighborhoods, and like it was almost like they were picking houses out. Well, right now as we speak, or this week, Napa is having meetings on zoning, and they're doing the Agenda 21 over there. People are not going to be able to build their big $1 million homes and stuff. They burned them out on purpose, I think, and they're rezoning it to multifamily dwellings. And this goes the same thing. Everybody's mad at Trump for taking back some land that was put taken away from us. In essence, it was Agenda 21. In California, they're doing it like crazy. They're putting gates and fences and places where we used to be able to go. We can't go anymore. It's all wild land now, and if you even go there, you have to walk and you have to have a permit, and that doesn't mean they have to give you a permit. But they also have this idea to make everybody move into the cities, into multi-family units. That's what they want. That's what the globalists want. So I'm glad seeing this big, Vegas, Sony Vegas Pro. That's what it is. Yeah. Have you tried that? I'm not sure. I never used it before. It looks really cool, but you know, but yeah, there's a war, and they're trying to take all this stuff and take the woods away from us. So like people that like me that like to go bigfooting, it's it's disheartening to go up and like for instance when I did Finding Bigfoot, I worked for Animal Planet Finding Bigfoot and when they came here, and I wasn't going to be on Finding Bigfoot. I was just working for them, and I was their guide. I helped them set up their shooting locations and get their permits and all that stuff, and then I rode with them to all the shooting locations, make sure they were in the right places and stuff that, you know. Well, I took them to the spot, and Ghost Wolf's been to the spot. In fact, I was gonna have Ghost Wolf call in, only my phone is dead from talking to the other guy for 3 hours before the show, so my phone's dead and I can't take calls. Um, but while I was working for Finding Bigfoot, I took him to the spot. There was no gates, there was no fences. Okay, after the show aired, and then they actually put me on the show at the last minute talking about the windows and stuff. Well, after the show aired, within a month, they started building fences and putting gates right there, and they now close it all winter. You can't go in there. You could hike in, but you can't drive in there. We used to be able to drive in there all year round, and it snows there, but it doesn't stay on the ground. So there's no reason really to gate it off for the winter. They're eventually the plan is to gate it off and never let you in there except to walk in. That's what Agenda 21 is take the land back. Think of the animals. We need to give it all back to the animals. The environment has to go back to the animals. And if we keep on thinking that ideal, I mean, some of it is a good idea, like have more wildlands, but not all of it. And that's the idea, is to take all of it back and put us all in cities. So even all the people living in foothills and outlying areas, they're going to try to get you and move you in a city. That's the plan, or kill you off. Just read the Georgia Guidestones. If you don't believe me, Google Georgia Guidestones and read that. It's in like 10 languages, and they're telling everybody what their plan is. And so, yeah, that is what's going on. Yeah, I can't wait till we go. I was supposed to go tomorrow. I was waiting for a phone call from a friend today. We were going to go up, and there's a place that I've been tipped off by two people now, that there is this place where there's like 200 Bigfoots living in this area. And I can't wait to go up there. And he said they're in the trees, way up in the trees. They're all over the place. And he said he could take me within 20 feet of a Bigfoot. And I'm dying to go over there. And I was looking forward to go tomorrow over there, and before the storms, because this month or next month, by February at least, we're not going to be able to drive back there. And I want to. So far, there's been a couple of dustings of snow, but no real big snow. But in a month or so, it'll be 12 feet deep, and there'll be no going in there. And I'll have to wait till springtime, and I don't want to wait. I want to go now. And I really want to go really bad. Yeah. Yeah, so you have four-wheel drive. Even with four-wheel drive, they won't let us in if the storm goes through. But snow is the best way to get the tracks, and it's the best way to not get lost. You guys know that, right? Every tracker knows that, because you can follow your tracks back. So you walk in wherever you want to walk, how far ever you want to go, and you could turn around and follow your tracks out, long as it's not snowing. If it's snowing, don't go, because it's like what was the little story of the little girl, and she was throwing crumbs down so she could find her way out, but the birds and everything were eating the breadcrumbs, and then she was lost anyways. Well, if you go in when it's snowing, you might be able to follow your tracks for a little ways, but in a few minutes, they'll be gone. They'll be covered with snow, so you won't be able to find your way out. But only if it's not snowing, you could go in and then follow your tracks back out, and you won't get lost. And you can wander around without paying attention to where you're going, because you always can follow your tracks back out. And I always like that about snow. In London, no, I heard the Queen's not a Bigfoot. She might be a lizard, though. I read that somewhere. The Bigfoot stick, I have it. You guys want to do like I let's see, what time is it? Like 10:23. I don't want to keep you guys up too late. I started really late, and I don't know how long you guys want to stay up late tonight. And I don't know that, like, there's not a lot of people tonight. But yeah, serpent. There you go. And she likes to eat babies. I read that in, I think it was somewhere on You know, $50. I read it somewhere that the queen is, likes to eat babies. So, somebody might like shoot me for saying that though. Who knows? You know. Yeah, Donald Marshall. I've talked to him like 3 times over the years. He actually like unfriended me. He got drunk, and one night, and he was like bagging on people on his time, and I shouldn't have said anything, but he was being really mean, and I told him to quit being mean to people, and he unfriended me. Even though I still like him and everything, and I believe that he went through something, but I thought was like, man, come on, unfriend me, gee. But yeah, you guys want that? Did you like the way I did that though? Like, what I'm gonna do is take screenshots off that video, and I'm gonna print them like at a Walmart or a CVS or wherever they have printing and whoever gets the flute and some of the other stuff I'll show you guys in another show that Pam sent. I got some posters. Was it Monsters and wait, no, what are those guys? I can't remember their name. And she has all of them. All of them signed the poster. I got some signed posters, and I got some books with some signed books and stuff. And all Bigfoot stuff, though. Whoa, really? Yeah, mountain monsters. All like, what was that? That Wild Bill, hoorah! Run into the woods and smash into a rock and fall down and get up smiling. Yeah, those guys are a crack up. I love them. I have 2 flutes. Tony Spirit Feather, he gave me 2 flutes. I have one that has a Bigfoot on it, and then I have the one that you guys saw in the video that has a raven on it, and it's traditional. The flute is traditionally made like how the Native Americans made them way back in the day, with 5 holes instead of 6. It's a traditional Native American flute made by a Native American. And he sent it to me. He said I could keep it or do whatever I want with it, but he sent it to me like Pam and everybody to help me get a computer. So I'm going to sell it, but I'm going to keep the one with the Bigfoot on it. He told me he'll never ever make another one like the one with the Bigfoot on it. And I think he makes the flutes like he puts different birds on them, but he'll probably not ever make another one with a raven on it either, because they have certain birds like owls and different things, different birds. So yeah, each one that he makes is made of different woods and a different animal on it. I think he even has a Copelli one. But it's beautiful. It plays really good, and I mean, I'm not a good representative on how well that flute sounds. Okay, like I could barely hold a note on it, and I mean, I'm trying really hard, but I'm not that good at it yet. Even though every day I sit down and play on the flute, and since this one, I have the other one packed because my whole bedroom's all packed up. So this is the one available. So I've been playing this one like maybe an hour a day, trying to learn how to hold a note with it. And there's also some really cool things like I don't know what they call it, where you kind of like finger the hole, or man, I don't want to say it like that. But you know what I'm saying, and it makes it go, makes a different kind of sound. So I've been trying to learn how to do that. So how much did you say it goes? $500 for the stick? Yeah. Oh no, $200 for the stick. How much for the flute? What do you guys think the flute's worth? Think that's worth $100? $150? I mean, he is outbidding himself. But he's already told me like a million times, or maybe not that many. Uh oh. Uh oh. Yeah, the flute is worth a lot. It is. I mean, handmade and everything. I'm thinking like, I mean, I don't even know what the value is. Tell you the truth, really, I don't. I have no idea. I don't even know. It's a one of a kind and handmade by a Native American, even, and a traditional flute, and I have no idea. I really don't. I know that it's rare, it's special, it's and it sounds really good if you can play a flute. Yeah, my lips touched it, and I even have it in a picture. You know, yeah. I'm gonna put an autograph photo, even though I don't think I'm famous and enough to make autographs, but I'll do it anyways because you never know. Maybe I might get famous doing this. Yeah, it's art. It is. It really is. And it's, what do you call it? It's something that you never have to play, and you could just hang it on your wall. It's beautiful. I'm serious, you guys. It is really beautiful. I have another one, the one with the Bigfoot on it. It's beautiful too. I would bust it out if I could. It's in a box, all packed really so it won't break or anything. I mean, but he makes beautiful flutes. Wow. I mean that. Um, I I think it's cool that he sent that to me like that. I mean, he didn't have to do that. He's a really good friend. And I mean, all you guys are really good friends. You guys have been helping me so much. All of you have. You guys show me the love for sure, and I want to show it back so bad. I don't even know where to begin though. I'm gonna try my best to get out and then bring you video and content and show you really love too, because you guys are amazing, amazing. Yes. Yeah, you could be like walking with your Bigfoot stick and playing with the flute. That's talent, my friend. Because I could barely do anything with. I mean, I could barely with two hands handle the flute. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be hard. But maybe you could be like Kwai Chang Kane, and put a little leather strap, and have it strapped around you, and have your walking stick and your little. Bag of herbs. Yeah. Get it. Should I show you guys? Like, I think I can grab it really quick and let you guys look at it again if you want the flute and the stick if you want to check it out one more time. I'll have to leave the thing. Yeah, you could do that with a katana. I have a friend. You guys might know him, Sierra Sasquatch. He does some videos, and he carries it with him when he goes squatching, and he goes out backpacking for weeks at a time, and he has his katana with him. Now and he dresses like a ninja too, like all ninja'd out, out backpacking. I told him though, like he shouldn't be dressed up in black like a ninja out there. Some idiot will shoot you, thinking you're something else. The stick close up. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Here, the stick. I don't know if it'll focus on it this close, but this is it right here. And it's got the like rope around it or twine and a leather strap. And then it has the Bigfoot burned in. It looks like it's burned. And then it has a oh man, it has a rubber tip, slightly used. I don't know what kind of wood this is, but it has like a burnt effect or burnt thing to it. And I know it's pretty stout. Like I was noticing when I was walking, you know how some things like flex? You know, this thing doesn't flex at all. And I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's pretty hard. And it's actually like for my size, it's the perfect size. But I probably wouldn't use it because of how nice it is. I probably would not. I probably wouldn't take it out squatching. It would be something I hung on the wall or something in my, like this right here. I, I, this little sack that I got. Okay, let me real quick. I'm gonna get the flute. You guys, here we go. I don't want to trip over the wires. Now, he told me what kind of wood this was, but I can't remember. But that's like the raven, and then it has the beads hanging off it. And it's like leather with little blue beads. And it's a raven on both sides. Right? And then this is where I was having the trouble right here. You could see where the air, when you blow through it, the air goes through that little hole right there. The wind was blowing through that, and it was making the sound go off. It was taking the note off of the sound. And then it's 5 holes. Traditional. And this is the end of it. Right here. Somebody leaving. I think I said somebody bye. Bye. Did they already say they're going? Well, whoever's leaving, bye. See ya next time. There is one flaw on it. It's a knot, and that actually even makes it even more rare, because most people, they don't make them with knots in them, but only he thought that it made it have a little personality, right? So he left the knot because it doesn't go all the way through. It's just like a blemish kind of, but I think it makes it look better also. And I think it's the same kind of wood the walking stick is made out of, I think. And the actual raven is made out of a real expensive wood, real expensive hardwood, so that it doesn't break. Because when you go and start, carving the beak and stuff like that, that stuff has a tendency to break off if you're not careful. So you have to use a really hard wood. But yeah, it's like real beautiful tone. I think he said that's G, but when you cover all the holes, it's really nice. Real cool. And I feel like, I mean, I'm blown away at all the stuff that um, it's G. It is G. That's what he told me. You're pretty good because I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you what key it was by hearing it. Maybe back in the day when I was playing guitar, but I haven't played guitar since I was a little guy. You know. Yeah, you did. I remember you sending me that, but I can't remember the details on that. Like, he can't find one. Is that what it is? Like, was these rare also? These sticks are rare. I know after I put it on there, I got a whole bunch of emails asking me where like where can they get one. I have no idea. I know Arlo sent it to me, but I don't know. He said where he got it, but only I've been getting a lot of emails, and I read every one of them. I'm serious, I do, and I reply as much as I can to the emails and also the comments on the YouTube and stuff, and even like the ones that are criticizing me. If I can learn, I'm not a negative person. Okay, so if I think of negativity as a learning an opportunity, right, to get better. Because I mean that so even if they write negative, it's an opportunity for me to get better. So the negativity doesn't bother me. The only time is when you get the ones threatening your family and death and all that kind of stuff. And then I don't think of it as like it's really going to happen. I think of it as that person is, I feel sorry for him, that, they got to be living in that kind of world, like that. I never could understand that. Oh, that's right. That his museum, he wanted one for his museum. That was it. Yeah, well, tell him I have one. 1,500. To Lauren Coleman, 1,500 for his museum. That way it's worth it to his museum. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys set the price. Really, when we go, I'm gonna have a one of these weekends. I'll come on early. I can't do it this weekend. Maybe the next weekend. Well, maybe I should do it this weekend because of Christmas, huh? I'm gonna get on really early, like try to come on around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'm gonna hold up, say the flute, and I'm gonna say the bidding starts at $50, and then I'll let you guys battle it out on the chat, and the one that wins can go to my PayPal link on my main YouTube page and pay into it, and I have the box. I saved everything that it was in so that it won't get damaged. And I will send a picture, an autographed picture, and a letter from Tony, or saying who made it and everything, and that's a one of a kind and all that, and I'll send it off, and then I'll take another item and hold it up, and we'll just keep doing that until I'm out of stuff. And I don't care if it takes 3 or 4 hours. We'll just like maybe I can do it tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Is Saturday, huh? Is today? No, tomorrow's Friday. This coming Saturday, I'll do it this coming Saturday, and we'll do like 3 hours starting at. Let me write this down so I don't forget, and that way I can tell everybody. I haven't figured out how to alert everyone. Like, I don't know if I can send emails, through YouTube to all the subscribers that I have saying I'm going to do this. I don't know how. I don't know. I'm not real up on that kind of thing. So I'm doing it like this. Like, everybody that watches this show is going to know that 2 p.m. Saturday the 9th, Pacific Standard Time, we're going to do an auction and auction these things off. Okay, so 2 p.m. Saturday, December 9th at Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have an auction. And I will put that, I will also edit this video and put that in the, not the comment, but the, whatever it says. I think I could do it right now. Yeah, I can. Where you can tell about this next thing. It even says I could schedule another stream, but I haven't been able to make that work. Yeah. I'm setting a time, and it is 2 p.m. December 9th, okay? And that's Pacific time. That's my time, 2 p.m. So if you're on the East Coast, that's 5 p.m. Should I do it earlier? Is 5 p.m. too late on Saturday for everybody on the East Coast? Like, I can change it right now. Yeah, the description box. Vancouver, British Columbia, and they go for $25. Cool. But this one's worth more than $25. Just kidding. But I did use it. You guys saw it on the video. Well, hopefully that the price goes up high enough where it could be shipping included, because shipping can't be that much. I can't see it costing a whole lot of money for shipping, $5 or $10 or something. But you guys know better than I. Like, you've been shipping this stuff. How much did it cost to ship it, Arlo? To me, was it $25 to ship it too? I mean, you guys know. Pam knows. She's been shipping stuff to me. On Saturday, East Coasters might not be off work. Should I do it later then? That, like, even for, what about the West Coasters at 2 p.m.? They might not be off work either. I was thinking Saturday, nobody works, or they shouldn't be. They should be off. So shipping is $25. So we'll have to add, I'm going to have to add $25 for shipping. Well, I want to make sure, it doesn't get damaged. I saved everything you guys sent these things in. I saved, so that way I can put it back in its original shipping container. Only, I'm probably gonna, like, pack it really good so it doesn't get damaged. I mean, I'll be so sad if something gets damaged on anybody. Too bad. When do you get? Let's see. Are you on the West Coast, Charles, or are you on the East Coast? Like, maybe I could do it. Your CEA. Maybe I could set my clock by your clock of when you get off work, because I have to do it by an average, and like, in oh, you're on the West Coast. So what time do you get off on the West Coast? That's actually a good way to do it, because if you're off work on the West Coast, that means that most people will be off on the East Coast by a couple of hours, at least. Oh, it says on it? It says how much the shipping is on it? Okay, I'll check that. I will. Okay, so what if I start at 5 p.m. on Saturday? 5 p.m. That'll make it 8 p.m. on the East Coast and 5 p.m. here. Maybe I could do it at 6 p.m. That'll be 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That's not real late over there, and it's not too early here, right? So 6 p.m. Is that better? So around $15 for the walking stick. Okay. I probably should be writing this down. Like, oh, no, I lost my pen. So the walking stick is 15. And I love chat. Okay, you could pay. All right, you better win it. Okay. So I figured the flute's probably going to be about the same thing, like 10 or I figure most everything's going to be about 10 or $15. And I have PayPal. That's how I'm going to take the. That's how I'm going to take the whoever wins can pay in the PayPal because people have been putting money in my PayPal and it's still in there. Okay, like I'm saving it for a computer. That's I want to fix my computer up. So what better way to not spend it? Don't let it go in your bank. Just let it sit in your PayPal. It's easy for me not to spend that way. And then, when I have enough, I'll start buying parts for the computer. And once I have all the parts, I can put the computer together in like 3 or 4 hours. And plus insurance. Yeah, some of it needs insurance. Like the flute probably needs insurance. The walking stick probably needs insurance, but the other stuff I think I can get by with no insurance. I'll have to look at the stuff. As I pull it out, I got like a few boxes of things to sell, books and shirts and posters. There's some people that have actually made paintings, real oil paintings, framed and everything. I don't have them yet, but they're shipping them. In the glass, framed. They painted them. They were showing, they were sending me pictures as they were doing them. Beautiful stuff with Bigfoot in it. Several Bigfoots hiding all in the painting, and Wolf Man, the Wolf Dog Man, and oh man, there's some beautiful things you guys have been. Like I don't even feel worthy. Really, I don't feel worthy, and no paintings of me. Thank goodness. I don't think anybody would buy those. Yeah. You know what? That me too. I can't even make a stick man. Well, you know what I can do though that I'm really good at is leather work. I don't have the tools anymore. They got stolen. I used to have like a bunch of tools, leather tools, but I could do something like this. Like I could take that Bigfoot and everything, and I could trace it onto leather and then cut it out, and I can carve and shade and do all that stuff, and I can make that like a painting and then paint it. Like I could paint the Bigfoot brown and everything on leather, and then frame it like a painting. I used to do that all the time, little things, and I could do that because I'm what do you call it? I just said trace it. You trace it from like I could trace put some paper over that and trace that, and then put it on the leather, and then go over it with this little indent tool, little ball tip tool, and then put a little indentation on the leather, and then start carving it, and then shade it and do all that, and then paint it. And it's beautiful. It takes a long time, like these paintings that they're painting for me. They do it in layers, and it takes a little while for the oil to dry. So that's why it's taking a little bit of time to get done, because you just don't sit down and make a painting, like in one sitting. It takes days. Sometimes it takes days to dry. But yeah, the leather thing, I want to do that, man. I've done a few things back in the day, like horses, a bust of a horse, and some things for people that they wanted done. You know, but only I never did a Bigfoot one. I think that would be really cool. I've made a few holsters sets, like quick draw holster sets for people. I used to be, I mean, I still am. I just don't own any guns anymore. I sold them when I got hurt just to live. But I used to have I used to make all my scabbards and holsters and belts and all that stuff. I used to do all that stuff, but I don't have the tools. And I was looking like a basic set of leather tools is around $500, and I could probably make one painting and make that all back. Really though, because they're beautiful. The leather, it's like 3D when you shade it and everything. When you carve it out and then shade it, it looks like a 3D piece of work. I mean, it's beautiful. I love making that stuff. But maybe someday I'll do that. And maybe I'll donate it to somebody, uh, I'll do like a drawing instead of selling it to everybody. I'll do a drawing and I'll put everybody's name in it that goes in the chat for 1 month. And if you come in the chat on each show, say I have 7 or 8 shows in 1 month, and you're in the chat 7 or 8 times, that means you have your name in there 7 or 8 times. But everybody's name will go in it, and then I'll have a grandkid come along and pull the name out and give away the leather carving. I'll think of something, because I want to do some things like that all the time. I want to do some T-shirts where I give away shirts and different logo items for my channel and for our channel. I'm afraid I'm going to break this thing, man. I don't want to hurt it. I don't want to dent it or nothing. Jeez. Man. On Craigslist, sell things on. I used to fix computers and sell things on. We would go to yard sales and stuff like that, and then fix things up and then sell them on Craigslist. But in my town, it's dangerous. And you get all these weirdos. It's so dangerous to do Craigslist in my town. The police department made a place with cameras and everything, with somebody watching the cameras. Like you can they have this thing called My Neighborhood or something like that, and you can send a message or call the police department and tell them what time you're going to be at that spot where you can do business, like they get the product and you take the money thing, because you don't want them to go to your house and find out where you live and all that stuff. So the police department has a place set up just for that, and they'll watch with cameras and everything and record it. That in case you get robbed or right there, But nobody's gonna probably pull anything in front of the police department. So I don't use it. I stopped doing it because I was meeting people in Walmart parking lots. I wouldn't bring them. I would not let people go to my house, and it's pretty bad. I'm always looking for the leather tools. I never seen them on Craigslist. It's very rare anyone sells them. What's really sad is a lot of the tools that I had are not. They don't make them anymore. So I mean, I'll be starting out like fresh, but I'm sure I can get everything I need, to do it. And maybe I can find some on eBay. I already been talking to the leather guy. I've been talking about like buying 2 or 3 tools at a time until I have a full set. It's only like $8 or $9 a piece. So every time I get paid, I could go buy 1 or 2 tools and put them away and just keep doing that until I have enough to to do one. It might take me a long time to save up, but I think I can do it with like around 20 tools. I could pretty much do a drawing. So I mean, like carving. Yeah, I have. I have checked Craigslist. I watch all the time for leather stuff. It's rare, just like reloading stuff. I guess I like to reload ammunition, and I don't have any more guns, but like people that have 30 out sixes and 308s and stuff like that, I like to reload ammo for people. And they just bring their brass and bullets and powder, and I'll put it all together because I mean, like, it's fun to me making bullets. So ammo, I enjoy it. I used to do it for the police department, and it was pretty fun. Like, they order a lot, you know. So I could spend like my Saturdays sitting there putting ammo together. Yeah, yard sales are kind of creepy around here. What's kind of weird, like, I like to go yard sale hopping, and I'm always looking for Bigfoot stuff and weird collectible things and stuff like that. But if I go to the rich side of town, real rich side of town, they have really nice stuff cheap because it's junk to them. But if I go around in my own neighborhood, junk is real expensive. And it's almost garbage, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like unusable stuff, and they have $50. You're like, what? I'll give you $1, Yeah, eBay does. It really does. eBay does. I've been looking. Sometimes I can get some deals on eBay. I just haven't been buying the stuff. I just been dreaming about it for about a year, thinking about it, and but I'll be like getting more into it because I want to make something, a Bigfoot one for me, and then I want to make one for you, for somebody. I can't say everybody, but only I can make one that somebody can win in chat. But I'll have my own carving up here, and not that Bigfoot right there, not the doobie smoking Bigfoot. Sorry, I mean the 420 Bigfoot. Yeah. So on our little trip, this the other day, I found some tracks. Um, they were pretty big too. They were old though, and I mean, like, really old and filled in with leaves, but you could still tell they were tracks. They were at least 14 inches long by about 6.5, 7 inches wide, and they were sunk into the ground like 2 inches, and the leaves are falling, and it filled it up, but you could still see the track and the toes and everything. It was it was a big Bigfoot, and we were talking about how maybe if those were a little fresher, kind of like that the buck. I was showing the buck tracks, showing you the difference between a doe track and a buck track, and on the video that I just put up. And then as we left that area, this buck jumped out and I mean, like, leaped beautifully, like 7 feet in the air, and then landed one bounce on the road and then across over the road onto the side of the hill. And that's when I started videotape or taping, taping him. But I know that was the same buck that left the tracks that I was showing you on the video, where I was showing the buck tracks. Yeah, there's some stories of Bigfoot attacking people, but I believe that, I mean, there's not a lot of them, and that makes people believe that Bigfoots are nice and they don't attack people. At the same time, though, if you look at how many people go missing, hunters, campers, hikers, in the hundreds of thousands. Okay, never seen again. Nobody knows what happened to them. Sometimes they find their bones years later, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, way up in the high rocks where hardly anyone can walk or get to. I believe they attack people all the time, but only there isn't a lot of people that live to tell that story. So there's no stories. You know what I mean? Just very few that made it, you know. You know what I mean? I mean, there's that Osterman guy where he got picked up and carried away. There's all kinds of where there's several people together and they bluff charge him. You know, like run up and act like. I mean, I've had that happen to me where they run up and they scream, and I mean the scream freaking goes right through you. It is the loudest scream I ever heard in my life. And even when they're a mile away screaming at you, you can still feel it vibrating you. That is how loud. Just imagine something that is a mile away roaring like King Kong that's vibrating you. And then imagine it being 20 yards away and yelling the same way. It's blowing your hair back. You know what I mean? Like you want to run. I can't even describe the fear that goes through you when that happens. But I'm sure they attack people. And I don't care what anyone says. It's that old saying, like, if you witness something, well, dead people can't accuse you of anything, right? Like, there's a dead witness can't talk. You know, they can't accuse you of anything or whatever. So, like, if you're by yourself in the woods and they run off with you and you never are seen again, then who's going to tell the story of you getting attacked and eaten by a Bigfoot? You know what I mean? Like, I think that happens all the time. Rock City, how's it going, man? Yeah, you know, a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know that about tracks, like deer tracks and stuff. And that's something I learned when I was like 6 years old about how to tell the difference between a doe track and a buck track. But a lot of people don't know; they have no idea. You know, one of the things though about the there's cover-ups too. Sometimes doe tracks will look like buck tracks. They have a dew claw also, but it has to be really muddy and they sink real far in the mud, and then you'll see a dew claw on the female. You'll see theirs, and the mud will split their hoof, and it'll look like a buck track, but only if it's deep in the mud, then it's a doe track. But you could tell he wasn't real deep. He was in like the sand, but there is doe tracks right there, and they were not. You didn't see her dew claw, but you could see the buck's dew claw really good. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I thought, man, I get to like talk about tracking, and when I go out, I'm gonna do stuff like that. I love that stuff. I love being outdoors, and nowadays the cameras have such great picture quality that you could actually show tracks, you know, and talk about it. And I could tell, like I was saying that track was made that day, right? It even looked fresher to me, but it was hard to tell, you know what I mean? Like it could have been several hours, but it was that day that track was made. I didn't know that it was only minutes though. Like when we left, we were parked right there, and we went around the thing, and then the buck jumped out, and he wasn't even 50 yards from where I was looking at those tracks, and he was over there the whole time, and I never saw him. Right? That shows you how good Bigfoots hide. They hide they can be that close, and you never see them if they don't want you to. Like, I would have never saw the deer if it didn't spook out and jump across the road. I would have never saw them. I mean, wow. The Yeah, I've had so many people tell me they knew the Bigfoot was going to kill them. Um, I think they were lucky there was more than one person, but I've heard stories of several people getting killed. Where they come across these bodies. Only the government or the officials say that it was an animal attack. They won't tell you what kind of animal. They just say it was an animal attack. Nothing to worry about. But it was an animal attack. Kind of like you guys heard about the is it Michigan? No. Remember back in the 50s the guy had the Bigfoot on ice and he was going around and putting around in like county fairs and stuff like that. I can't remember the name of him. It was the something Iceman, right? And he shot him twice. That was attacking him. That Bigfoot was coming to attack him, and he dropped him. And then he went around showing it around in fairs and stuff like that. And I think Ivan Sanderson and another guy, yeah, the Minnesota Iceman, that's him. And Ivan Sanderson and another guy, the only two kind of, experts on wildlife went over there and they were amazed at what they were seeing in the ice. And he showed it around for a quarter. You could go look at it for a quarter. And then he went across to Canada. I think what happened was there was a guy that was actually some kind of worked for a college, and he tried to get college people in there, and all of a sudden it got some attention, real attention, like official attention. And the next thing you know, he's taking it across the border to Canada, and he paid $20,000. This is documented, to have a fake made. But nobody's seen the original one since, and there might not even be an original one now. You know what I mean? Like, maybe because he's charging only a quarter to look at it. $20,000 back in the 50s is a lot of money. I mean, you could buy a house for $20,000 back then, a nice house, right, in a nice neighborhood. I mean, you could buy a car for like $2,500 back then. So $20,000 was a lot of money to have that thing made. I don't think he had that kind of money. I think that he got paid off, but he was allowed to make a copy of it, and then the government took it. Or it's in Canada somewhere. But he came back across the border with a fake one, and then that went, I think that's the one I saw when I was a kid that came along, It was the fake one. I don't think I seen the real one. I wasn't even born. I think there was I was born in 59, so no, he was touring it around in like 56, something like that. Even before Patty, that thing was out there. But that's one of the ones that attacked. And then I think there's another one where two trappers, I mean, these are like way long time ago stories. Two trappers, I think in British Columbia or something up there, they were trapping up a canyon and they set a bunch of traps. And then something was coming in their camp in the night and it spooked them. And they decided they were going to like get out of there. And to make it faster, they split up and they went and collected their traps, and they're going to meet back at the camp. Well, the one guy, when he got back to the camp, there was his buddy with his neck broken and his rifle broken and Bigfoot tracks all around him. And it looked like it bit him even in the neck. And that guy left everything, only what he could carry, and he got out of there as fast as he could. He was so scared. Yeah, that it's truth. Yeah, and Teddy Roosevelt has his friend got his neck broken also in a camp. I mean, or that was his friends that happened to. I'm not sure, but I know that Teddy Roosevelt wrote about it too, about those things. Yeah, that's why I know, people say, oh, Bigfoot's fake or something like that. He can't be fake. And they did find bones. Okay, they found giant bones all over the place. And the government has been collecting them up and taking them away, and you don't see it anymore. But if you go back like 150 years and or even 100 years and read like the top newspapers of the day, like the top newspapers, the Times and stuff like that, the Herald, all, like they wrote about giant bones found with dual rows of teeth and 6 fingers and 6 toes and, 9 feet, 8 feet, 12 feet. And they were digging up bones everywhere, all around California, Oklahoma, all in almost every state. They found giants. But the government's been, at first it was like cool. Everybody was talking about it, and I don't know when, but all of a sudden the government was like, hey, let's get rid of this stuff. And now, even if you ask the Smithsonian, Smithsonian, is that how you say it? Smithsonia. If you ask them, they don't know what you're talking about. Even though they're in the newspaper ads or articles, they're the ones that came and picked up the bones, right? And they were finding them all over the place, and they still do. As soon as you find them and they find out you found them, all of a sudden, these guys show up and they take them from you. And a lot of people quit digging on their land because of that. You know what I mean? They didn't want those people on their land, because as soon as that they found something, they also said you can't dig on your land anymore. They would pass the law that if you find these things, now you can't dig on your land. You'll get fined if because you found those things, so you can't open graves and stuff. So yeah, it's really trippy stuff. So yeah, that feeling you got, Barbara. I am. How many times, for the people that go out, in the wilderness and stuff like that, or the country, how many people go out there, and then how many times? For me, it's been at least a dozen times over my lifetime that you don't even see anything, smell anything, hear anything, but then all of a sudden you're so afraid that you want to run in any direction. It doesn't matter. You don't know, you just want to get away. You feel like you're in grave danger and you don't even know why. You didn't hear anything, see anything, smell anything, nothing. But you got to get out of there. And I've even began running and ran for a little ways until I was like, what am I running from? I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. I didn't smell anything. I mean, this is what am I doing? And then stop running, but still have that fear in me that I'm going to, imminent danger any second, that something's going to get me. You're looking all around, but I am getting out of there. You know what I mean? I'm not running anymore, but I am walking fast and getting out of there. I mean, that's happened to me a lot over the years. Even when I was a kid, before I even knew what Bigfoot was, that happened to me. And I would run. I ran all the way back to the camp several times, just or when we lived in Yosemite, I would run all the way home, hiking around behind the house on the hill. And then, it was something came over me, and it was I don't know what it was because I never saw anything. I didn't even know what a Bigfoot was, and I ran all the way because I was scared to death. And I would think, dang, that's stupid. I would think of myself like, dang, what an idiot. There was nothing. What was I doing running? Even when I was a kid, I would think that. But once I seen one, all that stuff made sense of all the encounters of those kind of things. And, that when I was a kid and growing up, all of a sudden I knew what it was that was throwing the fear on me or throwing rocks at me. Like when I was fishing in the creek and these rocks would, like splash me, big rocks. It was like, I always thought it was somebody messing with me or, I couldn't explain it. But it would make me run away. You know what I mean? Like here I am, 12 years old, fishing in a creek. That I would run flat out, get out of there. I didn't know what it was. Only after I saw one, I knew what it was. I knew all the times that the fear came on me and I ran, all those weird things that I couldn't explain, I now could explain. It was them, the forest ninjas. That was them. Those guys. In fact, I was talking to a guy earlier on the phone and my phone died. It was a 3-hour call and we were talking about giants, they're giants. They're giants. They're big. I've seen two really good now. I mean, I've seen them like fleeting probably 6 times, but I've seen two real, like one time was in the first time was real good, and I watched him for, I tell everybody like a little over an hour, but really it was probably more like 2 hours, okay? Because I watched him from dark until the sun came up. And I don't know how long that takes. I'm thinking 2 hours, but I watched him that long. And then the second one was on the Thule Reservation. It was in the moonlight. It was a full moon. Only he was in the shade, in the shade of a tree. And he was rocking back and forth like this. And he was massive. I mean, at least 5 or 6 feet wide at the shoulders. And I mean, his head was up in the tree. And he was huge and just rocking back and forth. I peed all over my shoes. I was out there to take a leak, and oh my gosh, I peed all over myself, man, trying to get away. It freaked me out so bad. I mean, I wasn't even looking for anything. I thought, the Thule River was roaring pretty good, so I couldn't hear anything except the river. And you're standing there. And then all of a sudden, wow, what is that? Oh, man. I almost tore my tent up getting in it, Okay, good night, Winter. I probably should get off, too. I was supposed to go watch a movie with the grandkids, but I'm sure they're already asleep. I just get on here and I start having so much fun and time flies. I what does it say? Almost 2 hours here for me. Yeah. Yeah, your heart is beating up into your ears. You know what I mean? You could hear your heart beating. It's that bad. I don't know. I know they like peanut butter. I did an experiment in a couple of places, and like one time something with teeth like bit into the cap of the peanut butter jar. Just only in the cap though. But the peanut butter jar, it was like a brand new jar of peanut butter, and then the peanut butter was gone and the cap was put back on the peanut butter jar. But it had a fang mark in it, in the cap. I have pictures somewhere of that. And then I also have where the jar and the lid were separated. You know what I mean? Like I found the jar first empty, and then probably 60 yards away I found the lid. But not, no animal could take off the lid. Okay, there's not an animal in the woods that can. Not even a raccoon. Their little paws can't wrap around, and they're not strong enough to do this either. You know what I mean? So it's not. It's not an animal. Something that has opposing thumb and fingers took the lid off. Yep, exactly, Jan. Same here. And then like where we used to go all night fishing, and they call it the slough, the Mendota Slough, and it's the San Joaquin River goes by there, and we go all night fishing, and you hear these big old deep ba-boom, like big giant stones getting tossed, and you're thinking, man, that was a big catfish or something that just jumped, or a carp, and you hear it like thunk. I mean, really big, deep ones, and we would just write it off. That was before I saw Bigfoot too, and then later on, after I saw Bigfoot and I was looking at reports, trying to find everything I could about Bigfoot, I found one report of some guys out at the slough where we fished, and they said that it was a full moon, they said, and these rocks are being thrown at them, like big ones, and they were hearing the splash and stuff. And they looked in the direction of where the stones were coming from, or rocks, really, not stones, basketball sized rocks. They look over, and there's this guy standing in the water, and he reached over on the bank and picked up a rock and threw it at him, chucked it at him. And they started yelling at him, hey, what are you doing? And the person never said anything. And they kept yelling at him and stuff. And the thing walked away, right? Turned and waded off and went up the bank and walked away. Well, they had no idea of the size, right? They just thought it was somebody over there. And they were camping there for like 2 days. So they had this little 12-foot aluminum boat. And they first went over there, and they realized that it was standing in the water. And what they could see was about waist deep. It was, they could see from the waist up. And one of the guys that was with him was 6'6", and he went and waded into there, and it was over his head. Where that thing was standing went over the 6'6" guy's head. At least that's what the story says. And it scared the what out of them, and they didn't stay another night. Yeah, it's Bigfoot is all over the place. The guy I was talking to tonight's in Ohio, and I told him I want to go visit him, and I'm going to go Bigfooting in Ohio. And he's like, there's no Bigfoots over here. And I go, yeah, there is. There is Bigfoots in Ohio and Indiana and Oklahoma, and name a place, there's Bigfoots everywhere. At least around the United States, they're all over. I mean, I learned that from Bobo. I used to think they weren't in every state, but we sat and talked one night for probably like 2 or 3 hours, sitting in the car, keeping warm. And Bobo was telling me they're everywhere, man. They're all over the place. And that's why they did the Finding Bigfoot show. Not so much to find Bigfoot, but to share everyone's stories. And they had some good ones, really good ones. And they're all over the place, everywhere. Yeah, I believe they like traveling. Jeffrey found a Bigfoot hangout. actually this Marine guy, a Marine that found it. It's a lair or something like that. That's what he was calling it. And he took Jeff over there. I'm sure Jeff looked around. I don't think he's that dumb, but he might not have done it on camera, you know? He's doing a lot more with the camera now. Like before, he wouldn't let me video and all that stuff. Like we would do mostly audio recordings and just a little bit of video recording. But since I've been going out and coming back with videos and stuff, and doing live things, he's doing a lot more, And yeah, he is doing that. Yeah, Jeff has opposable thumbs, but I know he didn't take the peanut butter jar, and I know he's seen one up by, I would say, Wishon Lake one day, and I would have seen it if I would have if I was facing the right way. Something broke a limb off a tree, snapped it off, and it was probably like a 6 inches diameter, and it just went, snap real loud. And I actually had the camera going, and I was videotaping Jeff talking, and the way he was facing, it was like right in front of him, so he didn't have to turn or anything to see it, but I had to turn because I was facing him. I turned, and it got away. I didn't see it. It was so fast that I didn't see it, but Jeff saw it. All he saw was head and shoulders. And what he described, I knew that it was a Bigfoot that he described because he said it just glided through the trees. It was like just, gliding. And if you ever seen a Bigfoot run, that's how they run. They don't like a human bounces, Bigfoots don't bounce, man. That's like, what is it? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Bumbles bounce? Well, Bigfoots don't bounce. They glide and they fly, man. When they run, it's almost like they're like gliding, flying, kind of like a turkey. If you ever seen turkey take off and fly, how they flap for a second and they're like, poof. Well, a Bigfoot just goes just like that, man. They run and they don't bounce when they run. I mean, it's the most amazing thing to see. And it's also scary because you realize when you see it run, and you see how fast it moves, how graceful it is, and you see how big, and it's moving that graceful and that fast, it scares the life out of you, man. I mean, when you can't believe something that big can move that fast from a full stop, like not moving, to like ungodly speed in a split second, and then be gone in another split second, and ran 100 yards. You're like, I mean, almost like you blink and you miss it. Like nothing can move that fast. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. It's a trip. Like this one I was tracking that I watched run like 200 yards. I'm estimating it could be even further, not less though, further. I estimated the tracks at 15 feet apart. And it could have been further because it was shocking me on how far. I mean, I never seen that in my life. I'm not even deer, anything could bounce that far. Like I've seen deer take off and really bounce like real high, but their tracks are only like 8 or 9 feet. This thing was double that, easy, and it freaking ran so smooth, and it was swinging its arms like a man, like this, like just going for it. But only he was not. He was like just gliding across the ground, right behind a pine tree, and then he never came out the other side. Like just. It was almost like he disappeared in behind the pine tree, and I was all freaked out, man. And then all of a sudden, when I finally got brave enough to go over there, I realized that like this is the tree And this is me and you, and how he used the tree to get away from me. Like, you're me. He went on this side of the tree and went away, like towards me, like that. And he used the tree as cover to get away. And that's when I thought, oh my God, he's smart. He's smart. He's real smart, like too smart, like scary smart. And it made me have a whole different respect for the mountains. In fact, I don't. Since that time, I'm not the same in the mountains that I used to be. I used to be able to just wander around, go la di da di da. Not anymore. Yeah, I gotta go too, you guys. Man, I'm having so much fun. We got on my topic. Good night, Chris. You have sleep well, buddy. And good night, Barbara and Jan and Gor Gorgaruga. I hope I said that right. And Charles and Pat Rock. 420, buddy. I hope you guys all have a really good weekend. Um, so Saturday at, I'll say 6 p.m. I'll be back. I'll put it in there, and we'll do some sales. We'll sell some stuff for you guys, and I had fun tonight. I didn't think I would like go on for this long, but I just love hanging out with you guys so bad. I mean, I love it. You guys are great. Thank you, man. I love you guys. You guys are really great. Good night, Connie, and all of you. Um, I'll see you on Saturday. I think I might try to like edit a little more on, and put some more of video, make like another little 10-minute section of some of the video I got from the other day. Maybe I can make another video with some other stuff in it and show a little bit more where we went. But anyways, you guys have a really good Saturday and Sunday, or I'll see you on Saturday. That's what I'll do. Good night, everybody, or good morning, wherever you are.